afternoon. This is Todd Bales. I'm the QAPC for DET2. As we start this video, I just want to make sure that you know, unlike maybe some of the other videos I've posted up, this is specifically tailored to those contract holders who are being serviced by DET2. If you're with the OL, if you're with the 38th Cons, while this information may be good, it's not really applicable to you, and I would say to reach out to, stop the video right now, and go ahead and reach out to your QAPC and ask him in both of those cases, kind of what the policy is there. So this really does apply to Joint Base San Antonio and those in the building there on top of Security Hill, as well as a few other varied locations around the country. So just knowing that, we're going to go ahead and talk about a great question that I received a couple weeks ago. And as of this taping, I'm actually taping on 20 August 2020. And so if you're watching this video and too much time has passed, you may want to check back with me just to make sure this is still the direction that we're going for contractor visits. So that's who the contracting is for. And we actually received a question several weeks back, like I just said, from one of our CORs who said they had received a request to meet with a contractor about some whiz-bang product or service that they were going to be pitching basically to the COR. And the COR had reached back to our office and said, do I take the meeting or not? What are the rules? And so that's what prompted this really short video. And I should say that this is going to be very short, but you still get 30 minutes worth of time. So if you're watching this, make sure you give me those 3 magic words. And the first magic word is drop. Drop. And so with that said, we can get you credit for 30 minutes. So what do? You get the phone call, you get the email, hey, we'd like to come in and see you. We do have this great product or service which we think will really benefit the government. What's the process? And you're told that you're supposed to be doing market research continually. And I know that most of you are. You have your ear to the ground. You're making sure that you understand what the marketplace looks like, so when that next contract rolls around, you're informed. But I'll tell you right now, if you're with the 16th Air Force, what we'll be talking about today has not been formally adopted as policy, but they are still following, and I'm talking about those folks in the headquarters space, the office space. They're following these rules just to help keep them straight on who they're talking to, so that they get the best advice up front. Okay. So you get a phone call or you get the email, the text, and they say they want to come and meet you. And our first question is always going to be, what do they want to speak to you about? And that's one of those determining factors whether we're in fact going to want them in the building. I guess the key here is when people call up and say, can we meet with you? The real answer is it depends. It depends. And one of those big factors is exactly what they want to speak to you about. The next concern is, are there ongoing procurements that may in fact impact what you're talking about? So let's say they want to come and talk to you about brand new spacesuits, something off the wall out of there. And so they want to come talk to you about spacesuits. And in fact, down the hallway, there's a group of people who are looking to launch people into space. Well, there may be a conflict there because they may be searching for information that would give them a competitive advantage over everyone else. So you need to know about that. And perhaps you don't know about that. And so that's what we're going to talk about in a half a second when I talk to you about the contracting officer's role, in helping you make that determination. Because at the end of the day, and I know I've spoken to, I think, all of you now about this, our goal in contracting is to give a level playing field to all contractors. And obviously, it wouldn't be fair to have one contractor come in and give us a great presentation and really sell us on their spacesuits when there's 5 others that we're not even going to speak to. And again, we have opportunities, and we talked about that in one of our earlier videos. We have opportunities like a job day or contract day, whatever you want to call it, to come in and talk about what they have to offer us. So we'll actually talk about that again in half a second, but you want to make sure that you're offering a level playing field, that no one gets an advantage in a potential contract action that we have before us. And one of the big factors is, do you have time to meet with them? Do you have time to listen to a 2-hour presentation on spacesuits? Perhaps you do, perhaps you don't. But do you have and with that question and the level playing field, do you have time to listen to 5 2-hour presentations on spacesuits? That's 10 hours. That's a portion of your week that you're never going to get back. Now, perhaps it's valuable, perhaps it's not, but you need to kind of weigh that as you do your calculations. So what is the solution then? The solution that we are seeing that's being followed by the 16th Air Force Headquarters Group is they're actually submitting to the the contractor who wants to come see you, a sheet of paper. I'm going to put that up on the screen here so we can talk through it. And what they're going to do is ask the contractor to go ahead and fill out this sheet for them and return it to you as the Corps, or you as the headquarters person. But I'm talking to the Corps here, so it's you as the Corps. So someone wants to come and see you, ship this piece of paper off to them, have them fill it out, bring it back. And the next step then is going to be to, once you get the form back, send it to 3 different people. 2 of them are in our office, and 1 is our legal counsel. So you're going to go ahead and send it to Mr. Yenza, who is our DBO in our office, and he's the Director of Business. So you want to send him a copy of that form that you received back. You want to send Mr. Zatopek, Dan Zatopek, a copy of the form as well. He sits on our committee, and he really has a good beat on what's going on in the building as far as procurements that are going on. So he's the second one. And then the third one is you're going to send it to Mr. Paul Blackwell, who's our legal counselor in the 16th Air Force, and you'll send him a copy of that form as well. And then the final step will be to go ahead and you'll get feedback back from 1 or 3 of those gentlemen saying, yes, you're approved to take the meeting if you so desire, or they're going to say, well, there's a problem. We are talking about space travel down the hallway, and we believe that they're probably fishing for that space travel time continuum thing that they're doing down there that's super secret, and it might give the space suit people an advantage if you were to talk to them. So we'd recommend that you not talk to them. So with all those things said, your second keyword is stop, by the way. Stop. Make sure I throw that in there. And then it's up to you, because this is not a policy, but this is a best practice. We're going to tell you, hey, you should go ahead or not go ahead. And frankly, I would take the recommendation. I would take the recommendation. If we say go ahead and take it, and you have the time, go ahead and take the meeting. But if you don't, just know that you need to move forward as you see best based on what the recommendations are. So there are some important rules if you do take the meeting, and these are kind of the foot stomp things we'll talk about. If you take the meeting, you are not obligating the government, and it is all you know from all of our conversations together. Only the contracting officer can obligate. So when you go into the meeting, just say very first thing out of your mouth, this is a great informational meeting, but I cannot obligate the government in any way because of this meeting. Put it up front, and then you're good to go and talk freely the rest of the meeting. Another foot stomp for this is follow the direction of the contracting group and legal. And I say I'm not sure why you wouldn't do that after going through this process. But if they say take the meeting or not take the meeting, follow their advice. The third big tip I would have for you as Corps is to actually file the form that you receive back from the contractor, and then any responding emails from the government side in a central place on your computer. You're not going to be filing them up into Pi because there's no contract to file them up against. But you will go ahead and save those so that you have the backup if something happens in the future. And you can actually say, yeah, I did meet with these folks and I know who they are. I obviously encourage you all to take notes during the meeting and include in those notes a sign-in sheet. One of the things you're going to see on the form is there's going to be a place for company visitors. Well, they may list 5 people, but only 3 show up. Make sure that you capture who actually shows up in the process. Okay, and then a question had come up after we were talking amongst the group. What about hallway meetings? Or do hallway meetings have to have the same sort of rigor? And frankly, no, they're already in the building. If you have a hallway meeting, someone stops you and says, hey, I just want to talk about spacesuits. You know, it's up to you at that time to say yes or no. I'm going to talk about spacesuits, but you don't have to go through the whole formal process to go ahead and get you know, the fill in a sheet of paper, talk in the hallway, and then continue your day. And finally, again, this is not a formal practice of the 16th Air Force, but the headquarters group is doing it, keeps them safe, gives them a little backup, if you will, if they decide to or not to accept a meeting. And so I think the same thing applies to you all. You're government officials, and you want to make sure that you protect yourself, and so this allows you to do that. So the final thing in this very, very short video is, you know, if you have any questions, please feel free to just give me a call and we can talk through them, whether you should take a meeting or not. And I'll probably ask you, well, did you get the form filled out? And you'll say, well, yes, I did. And I'm great, super. What did the guy say? What did Mr. Blackwell say? And those are the type of questions I'll ask you, so that we can go ahead and move ahead or not move ahead, depending. But again, my interest is in protecting you as the Corps, not to put yourself in a spot that's bad. You know, we have another person in our office, Lisa Anderson, Dr. Anderson, most of you know. She's our small business person, and she becomes a great source if you don't have the ability to meet with them, or they're just not exactly, you know, they say, well, we're going to talk to you about spacesuits, but you never deal with spacesuits. But we're a small business. Well, perhaps you want to send them over to Dr. Anderson, and then she can talk with them and work with them and tell them about the building. So, with all these things said, that wraps up this really, really short presentation. Just want to let you know how we're going to be handling contractor visits, how we're recommending that you handle contractor visits. Again, if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll definitely talk through them. So, thank you so much for your listening, and have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.